And instead of just teaching the lesson to just a general person, you're going to be teaching the lesson to either Frederick or Bernice. So that we can see who Frederick and Bernice are, I need someone to be a volunteer to be able to read who Frederick is. Frederick is. Who would like to introduce us to Frederick?
I'll read Frederick.
Go ahead.
Frederick is a young man in his mid-20s. He graduated from high school but cannot read very well, around a third grade level. He says he was passed along because he was good at sports. Frederick has been mowing yards since he was 12 years old, and now he has a large enough client base that he makes good money. Frederick is at a point where he would like to expand his business, hire employees, and start to go after big contracts at office parts, hotels, hospitals, and other big businesses. Frederick knows that to do this, he needs a business plan. He also needs to be able to read and understand the different laws, licenses, taxes, insurance, and employee practices that come with expanding. He knows his reading and writing aren't what they need to be for him to do that, but he is tired of that holding him back.
All right, so that's Frederick. That means that lesson might mean something different to Frederick than Bernice. Who would like to read and introduce us to Bernice?
I can read Bernice.
Go ahead, please.
Bernice is 21 and the single mother of a 5-year-old son. She works part-time at a daycare center. Bernice enjoys music and watching movies. She graduated high school, but says she just passed. Bernice reads at an intermediate level and wants to improve her skills to help her son with his homework and read with him. She also wants to be able to fill out and understand forms for the school and doctors. She is worried about her spelling when she writes notes as well. Her long-term goal is to go to college and study environmental science.
Two very different learners, one lesson. Just like the frame story becomes customized based off of what the learner brings to it, the learner in this case is bringing their background, their own goals, and their perspective of how they might approach that lesson that we have for Challenger. So what's going to happen is you'll be preparing Challenger for lesson one for either Frederick or Bernice. Some of the things that you should be looking for are, well, what are some of the goals that they might have that we might want to bring into the lesson, or that we might want to bring into every lesson because I understand what motivates this particular learner. What does the lesson have in it that might be relevant toward that goal? What can I bring into the lesson that can help the learner to be able to achieve the goal that they have, but also to bring greater meaning of that lesson that's in front of them? And what might I bring in to be able to make it so that it's more engaging for that learner and more meaningful for them? So these are the things that you might want to consider. The homework that we're going to have, and we want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of this because this is like the big event, is how can I plan a lesson for a learner, is you're going to be assigned either for Frederick or Bernice. You're going to have that learner profile that's going to be emailed to you, so you don't have to try to figure out how to remember it from your memory. And you're going to prepare that lesson based off of the profile. This is a fictional learner, but they're off of actual types of learners that we've had in the past. So this isn't like the real Frederick and the real Bernice, but these are actual types of profiles that we have. Incidentally, when you are assigned a learner, you usually get a profile like this in addition to a recommendation of what materials to start working with the learner in. Part two is you're going to look at the lesson. First, learn the learner, learn what the goals are, what their interests are, and what they might actually need from you. But then learn the lesson, because eventually you're going to have to teach Challenger 4 lesson 1. This is the lesson that we sent to you. It does have the learner notes as well as the lesson itself. And then the third part is based on the learner profile and the content of lesson 1 of Challenger Book 4. Select up to 3 strategies that you can use from the Teaching Adults resource guide. Remember how the tutor chose duet reading, even though Laubach graded reading didn't say choose duet reading? The tutor looked at the needs of the learner and added that strategy. What other strategies that you might use from teaching adults or any other strategy that you've learned so far? Frame stories, language experience approach, think alouds, which were part of those videos that we have that we'll be talking about next time, or any other strategies. We want you to be able to identify strategies that help you connect the content of the page more meaningfully to the needs of the learner. And when we come back, we want you to be prepared to teach the assigned lesson and explain the choices that you made. Mostly what we're looking for is that you've looked at the lesson, Challenger 4 lesson 1, but then you're able to explain the choices that you made for all of the additional pieces that you added into your lesson plan.